Hey guys, welcome back to our Algebra 1 videos. Today we're going to review our geometric sequences for our quiz tomorrow. So geometric sequences, remember, they're just number patterns where you multiply or divide by the same number every single time. So if I look at my first sequence, 2,480/16, to see if it's geometric, what I would have to do is I would take each number and divide it by the one that came before it. So I could take 16 and divide by 80, or 80 divided by 400, or 400 divided by 2,000. And what I'm going to try to do is see if these get me the same decimal or fraction every time. So that first one would be 1/5, or 0.2. The second one would also be 1/5, or 0.2. And that third one would be 1/5, or 0.2. So it is geometric because my common ratio is 1/5 every time. So let's check our sequence 14, 56, 224, 896. What I can do is I can take 896 divided by the number that came before it, 224, and I should get 4. So let me check. If I take 14 times 4, does that get me 56? And it does. So 56 times 4, would that get me 224? Yep, that one works too. And so does 224 times 4, giving you 896. So because I am multiplying by the same number every time, that is geometric, and my common ratio is 4. Now let's check our next sequence. This is kind of a tough one. 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. I'm going to give you a minute on your own. I'd like you to pause the video and then consider, is this geometric or not? When you think you have an answer, unpause and we can check our work here. So first number, I go from 1 to 0. What do I need to multiply by to go from 1 to 0? So 1 times 0 is 0. Let's check if that keeps working. 0 times 0 is 0, times 0 is 0, times 0. Cool, that keeps getting me 0. So it looks like this is geometric, and my common ratio is 0. So let's practice some equations. My equation, a sub n equals my first term, and this one is geometric, so it's times my ratio to the n minus 1 power. So let's practice a few of these together. Given our first term and common ratio, a sub n would be equal to my first term times my common ratio to the n minus 1 power. Now, because we've done a few of these together, I would like you to pause the video and try 4, 5, and 6 on your own. But if you haven't been practicing these lately, maybe you should watch number 4 and then try 5 and 6 on your own. So number 4, I would take my first term, multiply by my common ratio, and take that number to the n minus 1 power. All right, why don't you pause the video, try 5 and 6, and then unpause and check your work. So 5 would be 9 times 4 to the n minus 1. 6 would be negative 8 times a negative 1 to the n minus 1 power. And now here I want to find my first term and common ratio. Why don't you do that on your own? Find your first term, common ratio, and then write your equation for 8 and 9. So I would pause the video and unpause when you're done. All right, 8, I would get 4. Common ratio would be 1/2. Now, it's not 2. 2 is not your common ratio because I'm not multiplying by 2. That's a common error. I would have to take any number, divide by the number before it to get the common ratio. So my equation would be 40 times my common ratio of 1/2 to the n minus 1. And then here I would have 2 and 6. So a sub n would be 2 times 6 to the n minus 1. In finding our 13th term, how would we do that? Well, once you've got your equation, we would just substitute 13 in for n in both places. A sub 13 equals 5 times 2 to the 13 minus 1. Now the first thing I should do is my exponents, or parentheses, I guess. 5 times 2 to the 12th. And now this is going to be kind of tough. I don't know what 5 times 2 to the 12th is. I'm going to have to take my calculator and do that exponent first. Let's all get our calculators out. 2 to the 12th. That would be 5 times 4,096. So my final answer would be 20,480. All right, why don't we try number 11 together, and then you can try the last two on your own. So this would be a sub 13 equals 10,000 times 1/5 to the n minus 1. So first thing I should do is substitute in 13, and then I'll simplify that. 10,000 times 1/5 to the 12th. So let's do our exponents. We're going to get a very small number. We go into okay, so I've got 0 points. How many zeros do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 4, 1. I think that's the number. And if I take 10,000 times that number, I would get 0.1234. 4096 is my final answer. Why don't you try 12 and 13 on your own, and then that will be it for the day. So I'd pause the video and then unpause once you've got your work done. All right, so this would be 200 times 0.5, or 1/2 to the 12th. Which would be 200 times 0.123. 3 zeros, and then 244. We'll call that. That's good enough. So my final answer would be 0.0488, and we'll stop there. And our last one, 9 times 3 to the 12th, would be 9 times there would be your final answer. So there is our notes of the day. I'd like you to do the homework, which is just a nice 1-page, 8 questions, and I will see you tomorrow.